Are live here on Live Forever Young Radio. This is Raleigh Culp, and I am here with Bob Gilpatrick. How you doing?
Hello,
today?
Raleigh. That's
Good.
a great hat you got there.
Check it out. It's my new Rays hat, man.
Yep. Speaking of Rays, I woke up this morning and looked out my bedroom window down on the water, and I saw a ray swimming in the water.
There you go.
And it's the 1st of August. So I think the Rays, the Tampa Bay Rays baseball team, is putting July behind them.
Yes, please.
Because they had the worst record of any team in the major leagues in July, yet they still are tied for the most wins
in the whole league,
in the American League, and only a few wins behind the Atlanta Braves. So I'm glad that you have your Rays hat on today. That's a good omen. The ray I saw swimming in the water was a good omen.
I like it all.
Time now for the Rays to march forward and win the World Series this year.
Yes,
for Tampa Bay.
And that will make us very happy. And you know what we're talking about today? We are talking about happiness. And you can see I put right up on the screen for everybody a big smiley face. When you think of happiness, that's kind of an image that a lot of people get, is the big yellow smiley face. And just wanted to wake up everybody with a big smiley face. But today we are actually talking about a new study that Bob and I just found. You want to tell them a little bit about it, Bob?
Well, the article we found is called Lessons from the Longest Study on Happiness.
There you go.
So this study has been going on since 1938.
Yes, everybody is searching for happiness. Actually, I was listening to the news, and they say one of the things that makes people most happy, and this is weird, is when one of their favorite sports teams wins. So I think that's kind of why we were talking about, but that's just temporary, right? That's just a temporary happiness. So how do we achieve real happiness? What is the study telling us to do? What is the greatest determining factor of being happy for your whole life, my friend?
There's two of them.
That's it.
Two most important things that this study that's been going on for 3 generations, covered over 2,000 people, and they actually wrote a book about it. Robert Waldinger, MD, wrote a book about it called The Good Life, Lessons from the World's Longest Scientific Study of Happiness.
That's awesome.
Right? So he said the 2 biggest things are taking care of your health and building loving relationships with others. These are the 2 things that contribute most to happiness from the whole study that they did. Well, now, it wasn't just those 2 things, but those are the things we're going to talk about today.
Those are the 2 major factors. Well, we know the first thing, staying healthy, is key. We talk to a lot of individuals who call us that might not be in the best situation. And after a little while using some of our products and talking to our people and, getting their feet back under them, they actually start feeling better. So that means they get to live better, right? And that's kind of helps with happiness. If you can live better by feeling better, you're going to be happier.
Yeah, and there's, it's being healthy is not just the absence of disease,
right?
But it's having the ability to do what you want to do that helps make you happy. So we have an employee who's going to be 86 years old.
Yes.
On the 14th of August.
Yes.
Same birthday as my sister Nancy, who's a retired physician.
There you go.
But Gene is still working full time.
Yeah.
He works with us.
He does.
He works 5 days a week.
And he changes his own oil, cleans his own pool, rakes his own yard, mows his own lawn. He tells everybody on the phone that calls that he's able to do that.
Yeah.
And proud of it.
Yeah.
He should be.
Yeah. And he's a person who enjoys his job. So he's up early in the morning. He's on the phone with our customers starting at 9:00 every morning. And he works until 5.
He does.
And then
sometimes later.
And then what does he do in the evening? He goes out dancing.
He does.
He goes out dancing with his wife, and they refer to him as Gene the Dancing Machine.
It's true.
And so here's a man who's the epitome of having his good health contribute to his happiness, because he's happy all day long. He's happy when he's working, and he's happy when he's out dancing, and he's in a very loving relationship with his wife.
It's actually it's something that you would strive for,
And so he's and he is the younger of our 2 employees who have birthdays in August.
Yes.
Because Jim Lee,
which is his best friend,
is going to be 87 on the 10th.
Yes.
On the 10th.
Jimmy Lee still boats. He still goes out hunting.
And he works for us.
And he's very happy.
And he's an author.
Yes, that's true,
too. He wrote the book Palmetto Sunrise.
It's actually on Amazon.
Yeah. And he also wrote a cookbook.
Yeah.
On Florida cooking. So Jim was a fisherman and a hunter.
Yep.
And he knows not only how to catch fish and to harvest game,
right,
but he knows how to cook it to the point where people use his recipes.
Yes.
Okay. So these are two of the happiest men we know.
Yes. And we're giving you all this background because the key for these guys
is good health.
Is their health.
And their loving relationship.
That's it.
That's
you got it.
And so here's another thing about good health. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there are numerous different things that can keep people from their happiness, right? Mm-hmm. Some of them are physical issues about mobility and being able to get around and do things.
Yeah.
Because if you are hobbled,
mm-hmm.
you're not going to be that happy just sitting on the couch all day.
No.
Most people like to do active things, whether it's going for a walk on the beach, going for a hike, going swimming, things like this.
Hanging out with the grandchildren.
Moving around, playing ball with the grandchildren or children, whatever it is.
Be.
All right. And so if you take care of yourself properly, mm-hmm. you will be able to get around and do things your whole life long. But if you don't, and there's more than just good nutrition to being able to get around properly. Mm-hmm. People do need to keep their inflammation low, and they need to have the right nutrients to make energy, mm-hmm. right? But they also have to be smart about how they get around, mm-hmm. right? So some people will exercise incorrectly. Some people will go for a walk the same place every day on an uneven surface and hurt their back. People will have a tweak in one of their feet. Maybe they sprained their foot, so now their knee is going to be affected and their hip's going to be affected. And a lot of people, before they end up dying, have to have structural surgeries, mm-hmm. knee replacements, hip replacements, replanings, stem cell treatments, all mm-hmm. this kind of thing, because their body's wearing out unevenly. Mm-hmm. So you want to have access to somebody like Dave Spinelli.
Right. We had a podcast prior.
Has the capability to show you how to exercise properly so that your body's in alignment.
Absolutely.
And, tomorrow, I am going to get my first Guardian knee brace.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because my knee has been structurally unsound since I was 17 when I injured it. And now they have these new braces. And I'm going to go get my knee aligned perfectly, where they say if you were to drop a plum from the middle of your hip bone, the ball that goes into the socket to the acetabulum, and drop it straight down, it should go straight down through the middle of your foot and the middle of your knee.
Oh, wow.
Right through the middle of your kneecap and through the middle of your foot. And if it's not, then something's out of whack structurally, and it's going to wear out, and
unevenly.
You're going to not be able to have your good health.
Yeah, your quality of life.
Yeah. Now, to make energy, on the other hand, which we know is real important, as you know, from a family member who's low on energy, is crucial and critical sometimes, right? If your energy goes low enough, which can be for many reasons. It could be that you've got some type of pathogen that's making you ill. It could be that your iron somehow dropped really low. Mm-hmm. Maybe you've changed your diet recently and you didn't realize that now you're not getting enough coenzyme Q10 or B vitamins. All different things can cause you to have a really dramatic drop in energy. But if you take care of yourself, for the most part, you can avoid that. Now, there's always things that can occur, boom, out of the blue that can drop your energy, but you need to be able to have all the substrates to make adenosine triphosphate.
Right. ATP. Now, one of the things that we have that actually does a great job of it is Boomer Boost. We're currently out of stock. We're going to be getting an amazing new formulation here real soon. And the 68 different nutrients and vitamins in there are actually set up not just to provide energy, but they're great at detoxing, antioxidants, ACE vitamins, all the foundation of nutrition that you need to create energy
in one powder,
in one simple, easy to use drink, man.
Yeah.
So, and it makes it really easy because a lot of the times people have 30 bottles of pills. They have no clue really what they're taking or if they're in the right amounts. And so by getting something that's easy like Boomer Boost and actually combining it with stuff like our barley, which amplifies the effects of it, that's how you can get this energy to have the quality of life, even if you're a little bit older, even if you're dealing with health problems, even if you're recovering from an injury, right? A lot of this stuff, you're not able to, if you're recovering, you're not able to be active. And we know that when you aren't active, things get worse too.
Yeah. And activity is a big part of energy and happiness, to be able to be active. We had a story of a lady who got in touch with us when she was 97 and she was homebound.
Right.
Went from her bed to the couch to the bathroom with the help of her son, who introduced her to our products. And she was able to, after a month or two, she was able to leave the house and go to the gym with her son. And her favorite activity was Zumba classes.
Yes, it was, believe it or not.
And so this is an example of a woman whose health had deteriorated to the point where she wasn't very happy being homebound.
Right.
Except if they send an ambulette to come bring her to the doctor.
Right.
Now she's out and about, going to the gym and happy again. Right? And
exactly.
A couple other things that make for good health very important is sleep. So if you're sleeping in an inadequate amount of time, or you're always up and having to go to the bathroom 6 times a night and all that, your sleep is going to have a really bad effect on your overall health. Mm-hmm. So we have a podcast on sleep.
Tips for sleep.
That people can go to.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
We there's another real important thing, which is managing your stress.
Absolutely.
Now, managing your stress relates to your health, and it also relates to your loving relationships.
Absolutely.
And so if you're under a lot of stress and you have hypercortisol running through your body, it's going to make you retain weight. You're going to have a hard time being at your ideal body weight, and you're going to be tired.
Absolutely.
And so you want to make sure that you have techniques for managing stress. And one that we teach people relates to loving relationships and stress, and it's called nonviolent communication.
Absolutely. We have a podcast that we did on it called How to Use Nonviolent Communication. Actually, I'll put it up here on the screen. If you just visit boomerboost.com, you'll see it on the screen there. You'll be able to actually see, I think there's over 70 pre-recorded podcasts and now maybe 25, 30 live ones.
Live archives.
Yep. If you go and check out YouTube or boomerboost.com, you'll be able to actually get all that information. And what's kind of cool is a lot of the things we talk about kind of relate to each other. So you'll be able to find podcasts that you can watch together. You know, you watch the first part and then you watch the second part. And when you hear us talk about these different ones, it's great to go check those podcasts out because we go in depth a lot, specifically on nonviolent communication and the sleep tips in those particular podcasts. So definitely check those out. One thing I wanted to mention I thought was good from the study. They looked at money. Does money make you happy, right? And we talk about Anthony Robbins a lot. One of the things Anthony Robbins says is money doesn't change people. It just amplifies the way they were, right? So if they want to be heartful and loving, now they have more money to do so. But if they're the kind of person who is more isolated, maybe negative or depressed, it can actually tend to isolate them, right? So money doesn't solve the problems. It just amplifies the way you already are. It doesn't change things per se. And that's pretty much what the study says. It says, even though, where does it say? Research determined good relationships with most predictor, professional success was insufficient. Professional success on its own does not guarantee happiness, even though it's gratifying. It doesn't guarantee happiness. So that was interesting. I know we all work hard to make money, And when we get that paycheck, we feel happy. But again, that's the temporary side of happiness. Money doesn't fix it.
Yeah.
You know?
I think with the professional success, it relates to nonviolent communication also.
That's true.
Because in a workplace where people use nonviolent communication techniques, they are going to tend to be happier. Because if you're coming to work every day and you're having discordant energy between people that work at the same job, that's going to definitely be stressful. It's going to affect your health, and it's going to overall affect your happiness. So the nonviolent communication is extremely helpful in work. Raleigh, you and I use this all the time.
Yeah.
When we are conducting our staff meetings.
Yes.
And our communications with each other and other people.
Yes.
And it's pretty simple,
mm-hmm.
but it takes practice.
Sure.
Right? Because most people, when they're listening, are thinking ahead, like they're finishing the other person's sentence, or they're crafting their response, or they're thinking of reasons why what they're saying might not be true.
They're hearing but not listening.
Instead of very attentively observing,
right,
without any judgment or preconceived notions, to the best of your ability.
Right.
Everyone has their own thoughts, but to the best of your ability, you want to listen and observe with no judgment. And so start fresh, right? What's the person really saying? And what you're particularly listening for is how that person feels.
Right. And the reason why you're listening for the feeling is because the feeling will eventually help you uncover what they need. Yep. Right? Because what they need is for what they're feeling to be fulfilled.
Either whether they want more of a certain feeling or less of a certain feeling.
There you go.
And so being able to reflect back and say, it seems to me like you're feeling disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And then listening, whether they confirm that, they might say, that's the least of it. Right. I'm actually feeling angry.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Or it may be, no, I'm not feeling disappointed, really. I'm just feeling a little sad about the whole thing. And, well, why is that? Now you're letting the person express their feelings.
Right.
And then you can move to the need, where you might say something like, it seems to me that maybe you need this.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone's having a hard time releasing something that's made them angry, it seems to be me, maybe you need to do a little bit of havening or tapping.
Right. You can always suggest that.
And I just had that situation last night. I met a man and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about caring for their family, who was both mom and dad were sick.
Right.
And I was listening, and I could really tell they were feeling stressed about it.
Right.
And not only that, but the dad was very stressed because he was stuck in the hospital.
Oh,
so
man.
what I suggested was, maybe you guys need to learn how to do havening and teach it to your dad. And they were like, what is it? And
Yep.
I was like, yep, havening is like this. I showed them how to rub their hands together. And then I said, go to our podcast, boomerboost.com. Just put in the search bar, havening. You'll find it. I told them about Hillary Russo,
yep.
etc.
Yeah, we have a podcast we do with Hillary Russo, certified havening instructor. Check that out, boomerboost.com or YouTube. You can check the replay out, and that's great to go over.
Yeah, she's a really great lady. And so that's the nonviolent communication is OFNR. So we talked about observe.
Observe.
F is feelings.
Feelings.
The N is needs.
Needs.
And the last one is R, which is request. So a request needs to be reasonable. So when you're communicating with someone, you could say, I'd like to make a request of you. I'd like to request that you watch our podcast on havening.
There you go.
Now, is it reasonable? Yeah, it's reasonable. Well, how do I do that? Oh, it's really simple. This is what you do. Click, click, click. It's just like tic-tac-toe.
Right.
As easy as can be. You'll be havening in no time. And my guess is you're going to feel a lot better.
Usually.
Right? So you bring it back around to the feeling. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's the basic overview of it. The reason we bring this up is it's one thing to have lessons on happiness from a study.
Correct.
But it's another thing to have actionable things you can do to take advantage of your new knowledge that taking care of your health and developing loving relationships are the two most important things.
And it's important to have those actionable things, because the last thing that this study tells us is that happiness isn't constant.
Yeah.
You kind of have to work a little bit for it. Not everybody just runs around smiling all the time. There's things that happen in life, and that's where you can use these tools of havening, nonviolent communication, tapping, head circles,
proper sleep,
proper nutrition, proper sleep, caring for yourself, self-care,
and make these all a habit.
A habit.
You
can't just do it once in a while.
You want your nonviolent communication to become a habit, so it becomes your default way of communicating with people.
Exactly. And that way you can work on keeping. It's not entirely possible, but it's very close to be happy constantly. We know Gene; he's proof of it.
Yeah.
He's done the things right. He uses the tools he has. So,
absolutely.
But that's it, man. That's why we went over happiness, because everybody needs some. And now I'm feeling even better than before.
I'm feeling better just looking at your hat.
There you go.
And it reminded me of looking down into the water at the rays swimming by.
See, that's
a
great.
Good signal.
Gratitude.
Go Rays.
Keeps us happy. All right, you guys. Well, listen, thank you for joining us. We will see you on Thursday, 11 a.m. for another show. And we hope to see you then.